Hi everybody, I'm Virginia. Welcome to this new webinar organized by VALVEcampus. The guest of today is Ases Company. The last part of the presentation will be the question and answer time. Please write your question in the chat box. I'm very proud to present the president of VALVEcampus, Maurizio Brancaleoni. Thank you so much and have a good webinar. Thanks.
Thank you, Virginia. Well, first of all, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being connected in time. We have today another very important webinar, which is organized thanks to the cooperation we have with ACES, Global Quality Services, an important multinational company dealing with inspections and many other things. You will hear them in a few moments. We have decided to introduce this topic, remote inspection for manufacturers and for end users and engineering and contractor services. Thanks to I wouldn't say thanks, but due to the situation that we all face now with this pandemic and with this coronavirus, we are obliged to work in a different way. But this has given us a tremendous opportunity, which is to use better the tools that information technology, the IT, is giving us. And I think that the video conference and these type of seminars will be in the near future more and more used. So I think that for us, it is the second time we are doing it, and we have been very proud to have been one of the first associations to introduce that into our market. I would like to thank all the participants, particularly those who are representing valve manufacturers, component manufacturers, end users, very important for everybody, also for their helpful inputs that I hope we will receive today as well, and the engineering and contractor companies. Valve manufacturers, end users, and EPCs are the three major stakeholders in the valve industry, and particularly for the oil and gas market, it's a very important asset that is present in all the continents. So I would like to say thank you again to ACES for having organized with us this seminar. They will do the hard part, and I'm sure that we will all be very interested to listen to what they will present. ACES, Global Quality Services, will be represented today by three friends. Emanuele Carminati, which is the Chief Operating Officer, by Davide Brambilla, Global Technical Director, and last but not least, Enrico Satta, Chief Executive Officer, which will join us shortly. But I'm sure that they will all integrate. At the end, Virginia will give another set of information on how to download the presentation, and at the same time to invite those who are not members of our campus, being manufacturers, to present this proposal to their head offices. And I think that if we increase the number of members within the VALVEcampus Association, we will all be very, very proud for that. So, having said that, I will transfer now the information to the floor to Emanuele Carminati for his presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this webinar. First of all, let me thank you very much, Maurizio and Virginia, and the VALVEcampus Association for the opportunity given. Well, as you know, VALVEcampus is an association that brings together the whole valve industry supply chain, encompassing valve, actuator, gasket, seals, and components manufacturer, as well as testing, inspection, and certification body. With your consent, I would like to start with our presentation. Today's webinar will cover remote inspection system as a new frontier for surveillance in the manufacturing industry. The webinar will be given by Davide Brambilla, Global Technical Director Enrico Satta, Chief Executive Officer, and me, Emanuele Carminati, Chief Operating Officer of ACES Global Quality Services. I would now like to start giving a brief presentation of our company. Okay, here we are. I hope that everybody can see that and that everybody can hear me loud and clear. Established in 1989, ACES Global Quality Services is the largest Italian private inspection company with 15 international offices, 2 research and development labs, 1 software house, and 1 UAV ROV division. The company employs 150 staff, 300 fully dedicated inspectors. We provide our services in more than 90 countries, and we deliver an average of 1 million man-hours per year. ACES Global Quality Services is a leading provider of inspection, expediting, project management, QA, QC, and training services, as well as UAV, ROV services. We serve more than 200 clients across several industrial sectors. We can move to the next slide now. So why remote inspection? Well, it all started in late 2018, when together with our research and development labs and partners, we made the decision to develop a dedicated remote inspection system in order to improve our range of services and to bring added value for our clients. The decision was driven by the availability of the suitable mobile technology and connectivity, as well as by new industry trends and company strategies. As a company, we believe that innovation is a driving force behind every technologically advanced industry and the real driver for any company growth. The remote inspection system was originally designed to offer our clients the possibility to virtually participate in an inspection being performed by one of our main inspectors and specialists by connecting to their mobile devices. But that being said, the coronavirus pandemic has created a systematic impact on the oil and gas supply chain and the whole manufacturing industry over the past months. So, together with our colleagues and partners, we worked hard to partially re-engineer, enhance, and add new features to our remote inspection system so as to allow multiple participants to take part in the inspection being performed. Our hope and aim are to allow clients, manufacturers, and inspectors to continue with their inspection activity so as to ensure the progress of our clients' project and to support, whenever possible, the manufacturing industry and the inspection industry, even during these hard times of the epidemic. This is, in brief, how our remote inspection system came to life. We can now move to the next slide. So what is a remote inspection and when it is recommended? First of all, a remote inspection is a form of visual inspection which uses visual aids and internet connectivity to allow several participants to take part in an inspection process simultaneously, remotely, through live streaming. Remote inspection allows full interaction between all inspections participants in real time. As for a conventional in-person inspection visit, a remote inspection system is deployed when it comes to witness, supervise, survey, or monitor an inspection process, or to evaluate the characteristic of a given product and its compliance with the specified requirements. The same remote system can also be deployed to conduct live remote assessment and audits, as well as to perform remote expediting activities. So let us see what devices do we need to get started. Well, if you're taking part in the remote inspection from the vendor shop, all you need is a smartphone or a tablet or a smart glasses duly connected through the vendor Wi-Fi connection or through mobile connection to our inspection portal. If you're taking part in the remote inspection from a remote location, you just need a computer or a mobile device connected through the internet to our inspection portal. Let me just add that the selection of the most suitable device at vendor shop depends upon the nature of the inspection being performed. However, working hands-free is always advisable. Should a smartphone or a tablet be used to live stream the inspection, it is preferable to utilize an helmet mount, a waistband mount, or a tripod. A pair of smart glasses is also a good option. So when it comes to the internet connection, a broadband Wi-Fi connection or at least a 3G mobile connection is required to get connected to the remote inspection session. However, in our remote inspection system, the audio and video streams have been engineered to optimize bandwidth consumption, and the system will automatically adjust your bandwidth utilization based on your internet connection strength, while granting optimal audio and video performances. Who are the parties involved in the remote inspection? Well, the remote inspection system is designed to allow participants from all over the world to remotely take part in an inspection process. The involved parties are typically those who are normally involved in a conventional physical inspection, and more precisely, vendors or sub-vendors, customers and users, inspectors, and other third parties. What are the main features of the remote inspection? Well, first of all participants are connected to our inspection portal in live streaming. Everybody sees what is live streamed, enabling full interaction and communication between all participants in real time. All participants can remotely control the device being used to live stream the inspection. They can zoom in, they can take picture, draw or write a comment over the picture and send it to the other participants' devices in real time. They can also record video and audio footage, and inspection results and data are immediately available to all attendees. Any participant can share any sort of document, drawing of data with the other participant in their devices. If the remote inspection is being recorded, the audio and video footages, as well as pictures taken during the inspection, can, upon request, be securely stored in our web cloud for further consultation and download should this be required. So when is a remote inspection recommended? Let me say that remote inspection system is not intended and designed to replace conventional physical inspection, but it is highly recommended whenever any restrictions such as travel bans, limitation, and assessing vendor premises or health and safety concerns are brought into force. It can somehow be considered a complement or an aid to the conventional in-person inspection. With this in mind, we have witnessed an unprecedented increase in requests for remote inspection occurred over the last 2 months. So this technology is raising an unexpected interest from all the stakeholders, and we believe that its real potential and application is yet to be seen. Now we can move to the next slide, which covers possible scenarios for the remote inspection. I would like to take into consideration 2 of the most common scenarios. In the first scenario, the inspector is not physically attending the inspection at vendor shop. The device used to live stream the inspection is handled by the designated vendor representative. The appointed inspector is remotely connected and guides the vendor representative throughout the execution of the whole live stream inspection. In the second scenario, the inspector is physically attending the inspection. In this case, the device used to live stream the inspection is operated by the inspector, and the inspector himself conducts and is responsible for the inspection. In both scenarios, all other participants who are remotely attending the inspection can see what the inspector sees and interact with each other. Let me also add that no particular IT skill or training is required by any of the parties utilizing our remote inspection system, as it has been engineered to be extremely easy to use, as my colleague Davide will illustrate to a webinar audience later on. So we can now move to the next slide, and I would like to talk about the major benefits of using a remote inspection system. We can say that there are several advantages and benefits in using a remote inspection system, and I just would like to mention a few. Innovation. The remote inspection system creates an added value for all the stakeholders, increasing the overall efficiency of the inspection process and enabling a more comprehensive inspection of any kind of equipment. Interaction. Live remote inspection system turns a traditional inspection process into an interactive environment between all the involved parties. Collaboration, because people from different locations can connect simultaneously and work seamlessly together. No more language barriers, since live streaming tells more than 1,000 words. Business continuity, as all inspection activities can move forward with no interruption, no matter the restriction. Risk mitigation. The system helps mitigate travel-related risk and health and safety-related issues. Reduce stress. Participants can witness the inspection comfortably from their desk. Environment-friendly. The remote inspection system helps reducing the carbon footprint. Productivity gain. Reduce the time to set up the inspection, enabling more frequent and in-depth inspection. Greater flexibility. Reduce downtime, mitigation of unexpected inspection schedule change, cancellation or delays in the inspection activities. Time saving. Results and reports can be shared immediately. Problems and NCR can be immediately analyzed and possibly resolved too. Cost saving, as the system helps cut down travel time and travel cost. Data storage, as the video and audio footages can be safely stored into our cloud as evidence of the inspection activities. Data can be downloaded and shared by all participants at any time after the inspection. Last but not least, greater compatibility, because the system works with all operating systems and every mobile device, including the smart glasses family. Well, I think I covered pretty much all my points, and I would like to thank all the attendees of the today webinar for the attention so far. And I take this occasion to introduce our Global Technical Director, Mr. Davide Brambilla, who will be taking care of the remaining part of this webinar and will provide an in-depth presentation on ACE's remote inspection system. Davide, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Emanuele. My name is Davide Brambilla. We will just to I would say, enhance the capabilities and to show how our system can really help you during the day-by-day activities. Not only from the inspection point of view, but we believe also we can talk about capabilities enhanced from manufacturer side and even from the point of view of the APC companies. So why ACE's remote inspection? It's very simple for us. It's just a motto. It's like to say push, connect, inspect. Why? Because we will see how our system is really easy to be used and how we can manage it very easily between all parties. So I will start now sharing a video with you. Please stay tuned and look at the video.
In a world becoming more and more connected every day, to maintain our competitive edges, we are constantly focused on innovation to optimize the level of the services provided. Imagine sitting comfortably at your desk whilst you watch in streaming, your equipment being inspected by one of our professional inspectors in any part of the world. Imagine interacting in real time with the inspector while he is carrying out the inspection. All this is live remote inspection. Live remote inspection system is based on the use of a dedicated software and web portal. The software enables the connection of ACE's GQS inspector's device device. Multiple users can be simultaneously connected using different devices, allowing participation without any geographical boundaries. So what do you need to join a live remote inspection? Just your smartphone, a tablet, laptop or desktop computer, connected via a secure link to the dedicated ACES Global Web Portal. You will be connected with our qualified inspector at the vendor, and through his device you will be able to actively assist any moment of the inspection. Being safety our #1 priority, the setup for live remote inspection is intended to keep our inspectors' hands free. We have developed a support for inspectors' safety helmet where the device is mounted. Live remote inspection is also fully compatible with our smart glasses technology. All participants can witness or supervise the live remote inspection, interact on any aspects, express opinions, and intervene as necessary. Participants can even remotely control our inspector's device. They can easily take images or even zoom in while the inspection is carried out. ACES Global Live Remote Inspection allows you to store the complete video recording of the inspection, as well as all the screen capture images on a secure cloud system. All data is always available and retrievable after the inspection is completed. What are the advantages of live remote inspection? It allows participants to remotely inspect and contribute from any part of the world. Multiple parties can intervene during the inspection from multiple locations. It is time-saving. Results can be shared immediately and any action can be taken based on the result itself. It's cost-saving. Engineers, experts, clients' representatives can actively participate to live remote inspection without having to move from their offices. It's safe and environmentally friendly, saving the need to travel. Effective direct and live technical support can make the difference. Possibility to respond to NCRs during the inspection. Immediate problem solving. Immediate reporting can be issued at the end of the inspection, supported by video recording. ACES Global Live Remote Inspection. The future is today. Join us.
So we have divided the presentation in several parts. The first one is dedicated to show you how physically you can start the connection. How can you get into our own system and how can you experiment this kind of experience. So this is what we are going to show you from the point of view of the beginning of the connection. From ACES, we have an operator, a technical guy, or in general a coordinator that can instate the connection. So we sent an invitation to all the participants. Invitation can be easily shared in several ways. So we can share the invitation through the email. And this means that you will just receive an email from myself in this case, as you can see. Otherwise, you will receive an invitation from SMS directly on your mobile. So basically, it's another way very easy to get the connection and to start eventually the remote inspection. We have also the way to share it through social media, in this case through WhatsApp. This means that we have another option just to create a connection between all the devices of all the participants. Why this plenty of choices is just to allow a better experience, just to consent to every one of us to get in and to start the experience. Connection. We talk about devices. As Emanuele already introduced a few slides ago, we have several ways, several devices that can be connected at the same time. Smart glasses, devices like iPhone or in general Android phones, iPads or in general tablets, and finally laptops. Particularity of ARI, ACES Remote Inspection, is that it is an ready-on-hand software, because we don't need to download anything. You don't need to have anything installed in your own laptop or in general in your own device. This is very, I would say, easy of use, and you have basically your device with your embedded browser that is starting and enhancing the connection once you have pushed the link that we sent as an invitation. So what we can see here, this is a typical evidence of what you will have when you start your device. You will have the entrance, the gate ring to our portal. What does it mean? This is the beginning. As you can see, there are security features, so every different connection has a different code. And privacy laws are already respected because the system clearly asks you to accept privacy policies before starting. This means we fully agree with the latest requirements when we talk about privacy. Push connect and you will start. This is what is happening in your device. You will immediately monitor the quality of the connection that you have, and the system will start the connection between all the participants. From that moment, ACES will take you on board. This means that you will have the choice to start. So we are close to the pit lane. We are going to go to our run. Inspection, this is the main part. So the third point, what we really are looking for. Inspection, what does it mean inspection for us in this case? Of course, it's a remote inspection. It's something that the inspector or anyway someone on field will show to all the participants. So typically on field, we will have a mobile device, and on the right part of the slide, you will see what the operator, or in general the inspector on field, is seeing. And on the right part, what all the clients or the technician or anyway all the participants to this session will see according to what the operator is showing us from field. So different views, you can capture the attention of the operator, and the operator can easily show you what the technical guy or the clients need to see, as well as the operator, when the inspector is not physically present at the factory, can ask to show, to focus on a detail, to look at an instrument. So the capability of this kind of instrument is very huge. Intuitive controls. This is something that we are very proud of. We experimented with our inspector first and with our development partner. Very few controls, making us easy to have the full control of the inspection from the operator that is on field, but also from remote, from all the participants. The inspector can easily take control of the camera of the inspector, as well as he can eventually switch on the light of the smartphone, maybe to see better a detail, or eventually we can have a share screen between all parties, just to make immediately the operator or the inspector or anyway client aware about a specific detail that we need to verify, that we need to check, in order to better focus the attention and to immediately share ideas to complete a task, or simply to be sure that everything is running well during the inspection. We have several possibilities of interaction. This means that everyone participating to the event will have a full choice to interact with the inspector. We can just add some markups during the inspection to ask, like in this case, if the valve is stainless steel, or eventually to look a specific marking, or eventually to verify a detail. We have live pointers. This means that with our mouse, every one of us, and also the operator on field, can just draw his finger in a part of the screen, making all people focusing on a specific detail. This is very useful, very interactive, and definitely is enhancing our capabilities to be very, very reactive during every part of the inspection. Scenarios. We can have 4 attendees at the same time connected. This means that we have a variety of configuration. If you think about the pandemic event, in this case, we have several countries with a lockdown restriction. This means that none of us can go outside his own house, or eventually manufacturers can count only on a reduced staff. This means that if you want to continue with the inspection, you need to find a way to have the inspector duly connected with manufacturer, as well as with client or eventually with final user. So what we found, we can have the inspector at home connected through ACE's remote inspection system, manufacturer as well, just giving us the option to have a device moved on by an operator directly at the testing area, or anyway just close to the material that the inspector should inspect. We can have at the same time a client like an EPC company connected to verify what is the ongoing situation, if the tests are going well, to verify maybe some parameters that they need to check during a performance test. And we can have finally the final user that could be interested in verifying the status of the testing, to expedite the material, to verify if the material is anyway ready for a next step or even for the shipment to site. So we have just designed some more configuration for to show you how we believe that the remote inspection can help you. We have cases with clients that have or require the intervention of inspector coming from the contractor side, and the client itself wanted to send at site typically another inspector called monitoring. In this case, we have the option to connect both inspectors remotely connected from home, even from different countries, not only the same country, but I would say worldwide, plus the manufacturer that will show to both inspector the, I would say, the test running, and eventually the client can be connected as well, just to verify how the inspector are moving and if the material is really complying with the expectation of the client itself. We have cases where the inspector eventually needs to be, I would say, managed and helped by someone else, like a technical expert. This means that we can have the inspector once again connected from remote with an expert coming from ACES as well, to the manufacturer and eventually to the final user. This will create a good, I would say, merging of ideas and immediate reaction to any kind of issue, and finally will guarantee us that all that is performed during the inspection is truly shared by all the participants in order to have a transparent flux of information moving along all parties involved. As you can see, I left on the right bottom part of the slide one part where we talk about manufacturers, sub-manufacturers and client. Why? Because we believe that remote inspection is not only, or should be not only dedicated to the inspection agency itself or only to the inspector itself. Manufacturer could be in the condition just to verify by its own needs the situation of some orders, some suborders, the expediting on some parts that manufacturer need at its own premises. ARI can do also this kind, can supply this kind of solution. So eventually manufacturer through ACES portal can get connected with its own chain, just to be sure that the full control on the production is continued and maintained. ACES inspector can be part of this chain or not. We leave you exactly the choice. It's up to you. The system is allowing us to supply you infinite configuration. At the moment, we have set the system to have 4 attendees as a maximum participating at the same time, but we are already trying to extend, and this will be done in the next months, the attendees from 4 to 5, and definitely we count to have 8 people connected till the next release of our own software. What we can guarantee from the point of view of the reliability, we talk about deliverables, so what we can leave to the client. We have the choice to have a full audio and video recording of all our session. From the starting point, when the inspector is connected and all the attendees are in, we have an audio video recording that is safely stored in our own cloud. I will then show you how this is possible. As I was telling you just a few slides before, we can guarantee a high privacy standard. First of all, because since our software does not require any installation, we can say that your device that is being used will be not affected by any software. We will not ask you to allow us for some cookies. It will be just you deciding to share with us your camera, your microphone, and to allow the inspector just to show you what is physically looking on field, or otherwise the team of people looking at the remote inspection will be able to share, to discuss at the same time along with the operator what is happening during the inspection. So our software is 100% compatible with all company policies. Why? Because we don't ask you to involve your IT. We just need you receive the invitation, you push the link, you connect, and your browser will do 100% of the job for us, just guaranteeing the connection between yourself and the team of people participating to the event with our remote inspection system. The system guarantees a perfect optimizing between audio and video streaming for all devices. This means that every kind of device you will use in your office, maybe your laptop, or while you're driving, or while you're just taking a plane, it will be fine. The screen can be customized, and the transmission of audio and video is perfect for iPhones, Android phones, iPad, tablets, every kind of laptop. So it's just a way to try, and you will see what is really happening. We need, of course, a carrier, something that will allow us to get connected. We can use Wi-Fi or 3G or 4G connections. We, I would say, are quite flexible, and we don't need any specific encryption by your side. We can use your Wi-Fi as well as the connection provided by the device that will be deputed to transmit the information coming from the inspection side, or in general from manufacturer side. Privacy, again, or better, secure storage. We have actually implemented a secure system just to maintain all data that we need in a secure way, avoiding to lose data or just to compromise the information that we recover from field. We have the audio video recording that is safely stored in a Microsoft Azure cloud. We have an internal procedure that is strictly taking care about the images we have taken during the session of remote inspection, and we can make them available for all the attendees when they want, at any time, anywhere. It is important to say that we have the choice in this case to say that we take care of your privacy. Why? Because it will be your decision to accept the remote, I would say, inspection request to participate with audio, with video, tracking eventually the position of the inspection at the storage area or in general to the manufacturing site. It's everything left to you to be fully adherent to your privacy rules. Even though you are in Europe with the GDPR regulation, or eventually outside any country like China or in general Asia, where you can have or not have a strict regulation, the system in that case will allow you a complete, I would say, free of choice about the selection of the policies that you will or will not accept. What does last thing, we have the choice also to not to record if there are particular requests coming from clients, so we could eventually avoid in case of strict regulation. I like this slide anyway, passing through the next, because here you will have the full control of our system. This is coming from our dashboard, so this is something that will allow us to control every detail about the length of our calls, duration, users that participated, and much more. This is a useful tool just to maintain under full control all the operation taken during the remote inspection. Once again, here another slide where we have the 100% profiling of our call experience. So every one of us that is instating the connection between all participants can drive through a bench of information, statistical data that can eventually be supplied to client or anyway to EPC companies interested in monitoring the performance of all the attendees or in general of the inspection versus time or anyway versus any parameters that our or in general the quality system of the participant could require. Now we would like to share with you some of the main advantages that we believe should be taken into consideration by the typical users of the ACES remote inspection. From the manufacturer point of view, we highlighted just 3 of the many opportunities that we detected during the use of this system. We would like to bring your attention about the idea to have the inspection anyway granted, even though in case of pandemic events. We saw with the lockdown how many difficulties all the countries are now facing and will face during the next time. So this is a smart way, a digital way, just to grant you the idea to continue with the inspection. Not only the inspection, because otherwise, if you can expedite your orders, you will certainly take advantage about the scheduling of your production, or eventually you will see how can your supply chain manage the situation and eventually fix some issues just to try to recover the situation at the best of your capabilities. Another important advantage is that the test schedule can be very tight. I mean, you can go with testing even with reduced staff at factory without having visitors coming in the factory. We know, if we look in the specific to the Italian situation, that the government is trying to encourage people to stay home. This is also a convenient way for us to show you how we can manage a standard job that in the past was easily taken by people in the factory with inspectors or anyway client visiting the factory, and now they cannot be managed in person, but we can at least guarantee people looking at the same tasks from remote, from their home. So we will then guarantee the safety of all participants in this kind of situation. Why is important, and the advantages are covering also the inspectors, because we have the inspector that will be safe home. We will have no travel costs for him. He will be surely looking at the inspection, just focusing on the activities, on the real activities where his attention is needed. There will be a direct connection with client and manufacturer, because the manufacturer, even the inspector, would be not allowed to go physically in person to visit the manufacturer, will have a complete share of information, a video audio streaming that will be conducted between the manufacturer and the inspector as well. We will have the client participating during these events when he wants. Every one of the participants can step in and step out how many times they want, and they can experiment really the maximum of experience, just focusing on some part of the testing, anytime, anywhere. We can eventually support something more. We can have also some other inspectors, some other technical people connected to the same event to support the client, the inspector as well, or just to drive the manufacturer in following policies that it is not said that are so, I would say, well known at the beginning from maybe new client and new manufacturers. From the point of view of the client, we can still say that ACES in this case will be your eyes. We will show you how the material is prepared. If you want, as a client, you can get connected to the inspector. You can ask the inspector if he is on a field, or eventually to the operator that is talking to the inspector, to focus on some parts, to show him some details, making you able really to verify, to expedite your orders at any time, anywhere, to be sure that the material is really ready for the shipment, is really ready for a specific testing. And eventually you can directly check the test results. You need maybe some specific performance data when we talk about pumps, turbines, or anyway, in general on some machines, and from testing area you will immediately know how is the parameters that you need, and at the same time you will be sure about the result of testing. So at the end you will have an immediate response, satisfactory or non-satisfactory. This means the 100% full control about the capability of your materials to comply with your own expectation. What is ARI? It's your safety. Stay safe, stay home, and protect your assets. Once again, this instrument is very, very useful. You can have infinite configuration, and at the same time, you can protect as well as your asset, also the people working for you. If we are talking about the inspector, your technicians, your engineers, we can connect, and you can connect all of them through the remote inspection without exposing them to dangers, and in general, like in this case, to any virus contamination. So let's see the last video. Okay, so from my side, it's okay. I will now leave some space to any eventual question, and we will try to provide you some more answers. Emanuele, I don't know if you have any request already on the pit, just to be, I would say, discussed with the participants?
I've seen a couple of interesting questions. So go to the question and answer session. Okay. So the first one is this is an interesting one. Within the decision-making process, who is the main actor that will promote, enhance, approve the use of remote inspection and decide who are the experts that will take part during all phases? Actually, what we see or what we believe is that the whole supply chain actors could potentially be interested in the promotion and the implementation of the remote inspection system. However, based upon our recent experiences, most of the requests for remote inspection that we dealt with were promoted by EPC contractors and end users. Then I see another interesting one. Perhaps this one you can answer, Davide. What about the interaction with notified body that, in accordance with the applicable standards and national, international legislative regulation, like for instance, API ASME or the UE directive, might require specific tests?
Yes, of course. As I was describing just a few slides ago, we have the full choice to involve many attendees. Configuration are infinite, so it is enough for us just to have a mail address, mobile phone, just to allow these guys to participate to the session. This means that from the point of view of the notified body, they will have full control about the process they are going to audit, or in general to the process where they are going to participate. This means that they can continue with the standard activities that till now they were performing in person. If you ask me about the idea, how can they designate in a particular way some pieces they have already inspected and they want to be sure that they are secured and they are traceable to the activities they performed, I would say that we have still the complete proof through our audio and video recording. Should they need to verify, to control what was happening during the remote inspection, and maybe later on to verify some pictures compared to what we recovered from the videos, they can do that. It's very easy for us just to distribute and to share with all the attendees requiring the images taken by all the attendees during the session that was taken from the point of view of the remote inspection. Okay, other questions? Let me see if we have other.
Sorry, Davide. Here I am. I've seen another one which is very interesting from Maurizio, particularly in the Middle East and Far East when dealing with both EPC and end user. How could a valve manufacturer introduce smoothly his proposal to convince them to switch to remote inspection? To your experience, don't you think that even with all advantages shown so far, end user particularly might consider this a way to avoid the in-house final inspection? Well, what I can say is that, as a matter of fact, we are already doing some of these remote inspection in the Middle East and Far East as well. And as I told earlier, basically these were indeed promoted by the EPC contractors and the end users. So this is somehow already happening. The point is that whether this will become a standard in the future, it's hard to say at the moment. Davide, I don't know if you can complement or say something more on this.
Yes, I would say that we can have a full interaction between all people participating. This means that we have the ease of use of many tools during the inspection itself. We can have, I would say, a full alignment between all people participating. I will use your starting just to reply to another question that I see that where there is one request about the idea to share during the inspection documentation or stuff like that. I will say that this is possible because we can share images, audio, and also documentation directly on the screen of the inspector on field or the operator or between all parties participating. So I would say that the process is completely transparent, and also from the point of view of the standards, we can have really a good alignment between all people participating.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if we have any other questions for the moment.
I would say that there is one within the decision-making process.
We have already touched that.
Okay,
one.
sorry, okay.
No more question, I believe, for the moment.
I guess no, we don't have any more requests.
Okay. So I believe that unless there is any other new question, we can end this session.
I will say that we are full at disposal to reply to any other question, eventually coming from other people in the future. So looking back, we will leave the contacts both through, I would say, VALVEcampus, of course, but also here, I hope you are seeing my screen. You can go directly to ACE's website or eventually directly keep in touch with Emanuele or myself to have the best experience and any more detail about our own system.
Yes, and so I take this occasion to thank once again Maurizio, Virginia, and all at VALVEcampus, and we remain available for any other questions that might arise in the future. And yeah, that's it. So I will leave.
David, yes, David, David and
Yes.
Emanuele. I've seen that there are 3 or 4 more questions.
Okay.
Just a few seconds ago.
Okay.
I don't know if you can read them. 5. I've got 5, 6. Boy, it's becoming.
Now,
they're rising.
becoming busy.
6,
Okay.
New questions. That's good. I mean, we have generated the interest, and people are rightly giving us their feedbacks. Can you read the questions?
Sure.
David,
Let me go back. I will try to look at the questions.
Actually, no, I can't see them, Maurizio.
Let me see. Okay, I see one question. So there is no app, all via web browser. Yes, this is the main option we leave in case of policies, but I will say that we have also a dedicated app. What are the features of the app compared to the live remote inspection through the browser? Basically, they are identical. I would say that the app allows you to enhance the capability of the system from the point of view of the video quality. It's more reactive, and also from the point of view of the controls that people can take of the mobile of the inspectors. Since the inspector has installed an app, in that case, you can eventually zoom, use or force the zoom of the mobile camera of the operator or in general of the inspector to focus by yourself during the inspection. This means that all the attendees, all 4 attendees, can take full control of the device that is actually used to perform the inspection.
Yeah. Then there is another one regarding documentation. It says, this is in Italian, è possibile allegare della documentazione. Is it possible to, let's say, upload documentation? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. We have already replied it through the screens of all attendees. We can easily share all the documentation we need. Should we need to check a spec or should we need to check a drawing, we can do all at the same time. Is it enough that one of the attendees just select to share his own screen? Also, the operator or the inspector on field will know immediately where you need to focus and where you need to drive the attention. This is another useful tool to be combined with the live pointer, where you can exactly highlight where the inspector or the operator need to look.
Yeah. And David, there is also another one for you regarding the artificial intelligence capability of our application.
Yes, I would say that that is something that we are actually, I would say, developing. I mean, we have several systems that can interact during the use of this app. I would say the first feature is just to try even to optimize connection in different locations. We are actually performing inspection in difficult location. I mean, difficult from the point of view of the connection, like China or some parts of Asia and Russia. And actually the system is an artificial intelligence inside that is always trying to rescalate the images to guarantee the best experience. I would say the main target of the software in this case is to maintain and establish the connection since you start. Second point is the images are all at any time trying to be the best according to the quality of the carrier that is transmitting the signal. So if we go with the Wi-Fi, system tries to use the best, the huge quantity of Wi-Fi, of bandwidth that it can. Otherwise, when we use 3G or 4G, again, system is trying to push the connection at the best of its own capability. If we talk about artificial intelligence in data storage, I would say yes, because once again, the protocol of encryption of the system, it's allowing us to have a full audio video transmission that is encrypted together with all the voices of all the attendees at the same time. And once I would say this flux of data is received from our own software, they needed to be decrypted and made immediately available for ourselves at ACES or to all the attendees that would eventually need the information that we recorded.
Okay. Then there is another one which is regarding the application. So it says whether the system requires the installation of an application. In principle, no. However, we are currently working on developing the application. And I will also take this chance to answer the next question, which says it can be downloaded from Apple Store or Play Store. Not yet, but we are currently working on it, and the app will soon be released. That being said, I would like to stress once again on the fact that the usage of our system does not necessarily require installation of an app. It has been designed to work without the need of an app, and it is very user-friendly. As David explained, we can sum up saying that the system is just push or follow a link that you receive on your mobile device, for example, connect to the internet and then start the inspection. Simple as that.
Exactly. What we experimented in these difficult times is definitely the urgency to continue with your job even in difficult situation. And for us was very easy to tell to our clients, we have just a software. You need just to push a link and everything will start again. This means that if you are producing material, like in the case of valves, in a manufacturer side that is quite safe, your target is to show to the client that really you are continuing to produce your pieces, you are going again to test these valves to make them available for your client. But figure you, when we talk about maybe field where the operator typically cannot wear or take with him any kind of device, we should just ask him to use a rugged mobile or anything that is ATEX proof to go in the refinery and continue with the inspection. So in this way, we will grant the safety of the guy that is physically performing the inspection, and at the same time, we will be sure to have a good connection.
Okay, there is another question, Davide. Is there any demo to test this app, for example, on mobile phone, or should I download an app?
It's very easy, Emanuele. If I want, I can reply you. It's just a matter to keep in touch with us. What we strongly suggest is to do a testing together with us. You call us, we will share with you immediately the invitation, and we will start immediately a connection, not maybe through Teams or anyway to Zoom or any other kind of social like we are using now, but just to experiment what really, from the point of view of the inspector and from the point of view like a client, you will see during the performance of a real inspection. I would say that testing means that also a sort of validation. We had in the past clients that asked us to perform a trial before, just to be sure that the system can be really effective. If you ask me if there is any standard to be applied to the remote inspection, I would say that we are still talking about visual inspection connected from remote. So for us, validation in this case could be also the idea to show maybe an instrument or to be able to discriminate a standard defect or anyway a resolution on a manometer to show to the client that the inspector is really able to evaluate and to consider the effectiveness of the test that is physically performed by an operator on field and monitored or anyway witnessed in remote by the inspector.
Okay. Are there any other question at the moment?
I don't see any other question coming. Let me see. Okay, we can talk as a last point about the ease of use of the system. I mean, commands to be used by the operator, by the inspector, by the client are very, very easy and intuitive. This means that it is enough, I would say, to start the connection the day of designated for the inspection, or if you prefer to have a trial, maybe it's enough just 1 hour to have all the attendees pretty aware, pretty comfortable with the system. We had cases of people that participating and looking at an inspection performed in Spain from the metro in Japan, or maybe from field in Malaysia. So we had several cases where we had really people connecting to our portal, to the remote inspection in many, many different situations, with the focus to be sure about the effectiveness of the testing that our inspector was witnessing at that time.
Yeah, and again, this is due or this is thanks to the great engineering work which was done by our people in optimizing the bandwidth consumption. The system is indeed truly very stable. So we have tested it extensively over the past weeks and months. And honestly speaking, we have never faced any significant problems.
Yes, I would say that our motto is again simple, fast and effective. We have now a roadmap that is very tight from the point of view of the schedule. Soon you will see over a iOS store or Android store a fully branded ACES app to be freely downloaded about the remote inspection. This obviously it's an option for you because we are already running the system at 100%. The idea of the app is just to enhance and to better customize your experience. You will of course take advantages in minimizing or decreasing the battery consumption. You will see I would say a dedicated environment in your mobile managing all the aspects of the remote inspection experience. Anyway, actually, if you ask us, can we start with the remote inspection? We will say you certainly yes, we are already performed this kind of remote inspection worldwide. We have people actually working in the US, of course in Europe, where we started the developing of the system, Middle East, Malaysia. So I would say every continent worldwide can be already covered by our own remote inspection system.
So Davide, I have another question for you.
Sure.
So where do you see this technology or this, let's say, remote streaming system in the future? Which are the next step or the other applications of this system?
I would say that the pandemic event has already contributed to hugely speed up the idea of the inspection conducted from remote. From our point of view, we will see that, of course, the remote inspection will be a great aid for inspectors, but also for expeditors. Figure you an expediter connected from office or from home with several manufacturers all along the day, with the idea to physically see the material that is going to expedite. We would save, of course, and particularly in case of tight schedule, kilometers for the inspector, of course, but also precious time for client as well as for the EPC company that wants to have the information provided immediately, can or cannot deliver it. Typically, the question that we face is this one. In the case of the inspection, what we can guarantee in this case is an immediate result. So we can say immediately at the end of the session, the test was satisfactory or not, and we can provide eventually further data for the on-field development of maybe the construction based on the parameters that the technical guys of client or anyway of the EPC company saw during the inspection performed by the inspector. Just think to pump testing. The inspector normally tests the pump over 5 points. It happened to me in the past to have maybe technical guys coming from field asking for specific testing outside the 5 points in the curve, just to be sure to cover all the parameters they really wanted to see during a test. This can be done immediately. Information can be shared immediately with field to help client to even better develop the construction of the site.
Okay, and this leads me to another question. So do you see or do you believe that this system could be used, for example, for remote assistance or also for remote maintenance?
Yes, this is something that we have already performed. We had a case where we had a failure of an equipment. I would say it was a big valve. Client was particularly, or better, the final user was particularly afraid about the damage occurring on field, and we had an inspector monitoring all the dismantling and monthly phases, participating to root cause analysis, even to in pandemic condition. So the inspector connected from home was really inspecting and looking at 100% of all the operation related to the recovery of this valve. On the other side, when we talk about valves on field, we could think to this system fully developed and used by a manufacturer that typically would connect the technical guy on field trying to repair the valve with the technical experts that are maybe at factory or at a premise, just to be sure that everything is mounted or built up according to the expectation of the client, of course, but also from the point of view of the manufacturer. Just think to the assembly of the valve and the actuator. It will be a great advantage to have a guy on field supported both from the point of view of the valve itself and also from the point of view of the actuator. So we will be sure that several experts can really contribute to the problem solving of the issue eventually detected on field.
That's right. And then I see another question here. Any idea on how to perform a remote inspection on complete pressure equipment like boiler, vessel, or column?
Yes, this can be done, and it is particularly appreciated, this question, because we have still the choice to expand a little bit over another task. I would say that from the point of view of the remote inspection, this can be easily done. The inspector will see even from remote every kind of testing performed over a boiler, a pressure vessel, or anyway on a column. So we can pass from the visual inspection of the weld joint. Depending on the quality, again, we can do a sort of validation about the visual check that we are going to perform just to comply with the eventual requirement coming from client and from standards. And we can eventually pass through the hydro test where the inspector need to focus the attention over the manometer and in general to control the courses to verify if there is any variation or any deformation on the pressure equipment.
Okay.
Okay,
please continue, Davide.
I was just, my idea was just to suggest that we at ACES can perform in this case also inspection utilizing drones. So the idea is to supply this kind of remote inspection, just installing a camera over one of our drone or ROV. It depends. You need to inspect a material from remote. You need to go to the top of a column because you want to be sure that everything is set up correctly. Just ask us, we will send a drone, we will just connect our drone with your screen and everything will be done. This is something that we are already doing for other clients in other sectors, but it's really easy for us to have a connection between, I would say, the air, so the drones, and our screens, just to be sure that everything is okay.
Okay. And there is another question which I would like to take, Davide. Do clients have already asked for this way of inspection even without the pandemic situation? Yes, it's already happened before this coronavirus epidemic. It already happened a few times, and I remember the first time it was basically involving a valve manufacturer in Spain.
Correct.
And the engineering company was a Japanese engineering company, and the final user was from Malaysia. So the valve had some problem at site and had to be fixed. So it was sent back to the manufacturer for some extraordinary maintenance. And the inspector conducted this inspection using our remote inspection system with all the parties connected. And it was, for us at least, it was indeed a very extensive testing, because it was one of the first time we utilized this system. And just to give you an idea on how this system is stable, we have tested it for over 2 weeks, using it almost 8-9 hours every day, and without having a particular problem. Davide, you have followed this by yourself.
Of course.
Our technical director, so perhaps you can also provide additional
details.
Yes,
I will give you
wish.
Yes, sure. Some more figures. I would say that the statistics that I show you during the presentation were referred to just the last 7 weeks. During this period, I mean 1 month and 15 days, we performed about 24 days of remote inspections. This means that really we are pushing and we are on a cutting edge now, because really during the pandemic we saw that the clients were asking us to perform massive campaigns about remote inspection. If you ask me, is there any limit? I would say no, we can instate how many calls we want. We have agents that can manage at the same time the statement of tens of this kind of remote inspection. What we need is basically to have the inspector connecting from home and the manufacturer available to perform inspection. So last stuff, we tried to use this system also in China. I would say this, I am particularly proud about this because we can say that this is really a plus of our system. We were able to perform some testing, and we will start inspection soon in China using a Chinese carrier. This means that we didn't have any, I would say, limitation, any ban in the use of our own dedicated software. Even though we know that China is a difficult country from the point of view of software usage, or anyway from the point of view of the devices made available for this kind of operation. In this case, we utilized one inspector of us. We organized a real test with a client connected from UK, and the test went well. I mean, the inspector was just showing us the internal of a mall just to demonstrate that he was able to get connected with us. The inspector had already performed one visit for this client, and he was able to show from the screen sharing all the pictures that he took just a while before the connection at the end of the inspection. So it was really amazing for us to see how can really the connection between parties made the stuff easy. The client was surprised about the capability of the system, and at the same time he controlled, he verified the pictures taken by the inspector. It was really amazing. I was surprised about the immediate effect of this connection, because we left the client with already the information about the result of the inspection. It was really amazing. I see one question, Emanuele. Will this type of technology replace desk expediting? Once again, I would say that our idea is to supply one effective tool. Should the expeditor need to go on field? I would say it depends on the client needs. It depends on the schedule we have. If we think about too complex equipments where we have maybe tight schedule, and we need to verify and to maintain trace about the capability of the manufacturer, seeing some details and some audio recording or pictures, our system could be really effective. In one day, our expediter could be connected with several manufacturers, taking at the same time evidences of what is writing in the report. At the same time, I would say this is a tool, so we always suggest to combine our own remote inspection with a physical inspection, just to complete at 360 degrees the inspection or expediting experience to comply with client requirements.
Okay. And then there is another question, Davide, that says, ACES is owner of the software. Is possible having inception between client supplier and sub-supplier without ACES involvement? In this case, how to get software access?
Yes, this is something that was already, I would say, introduced by one of the slides that we discussed a while ago. We have this kind of configuration possible. We can manage for the client the statement of the remote inspection, even though our inspector is not taking part, or we can eventually sell to the client the use of this system. Obviously, we at ACES are always taking into particular consideration the idea of privacy and data storage. So they will have the choice to utilize our own cloud storage with the privilege, of course, of administrators. So only the access to this data will be delivered only for them. Otherwise, we can just, I would say, propose the use of the platform, and data will be completely managed outside our system. So we are fully, I would say, able to create a sort of modular approach, fully owned by us and managed by us with our assistant, partially managed by us, or totally outsourced with the meaning of total liberty for the client asking us to manage the remote inspection, to take the full control of the data they are using.
Okay. And there is another question, Davide. Do you develop the software, or is it a joint venture with other software developer? Well, we can say that the team that has developed the software, it's basically technical people from ACES, together with the IT engineer of ACES, and we also utilized an external software house who helped us in, let's say, engineering the software. At the end of the day, it is an ACES software anyway.
Exactly. I would say that we started with the development of the software mainly, I would say, more than 1 year ago. I remember.
End of 2018.
Exactly. We started with the idea to create our own software. Why? Because we were looking to something, I would say, more customized with the experience we were going to supply to our client. I remember during the inspection we were carrying out, one of the common issues that the inspectors were retrieving was the utilizing of devices on field. I mean, typically, if you ask to use a company laptop of the manufacturer, you will experience several restrictions. First of all, because you are not part of the organization. Second, because maybe these guys has some strict policies. So the first questions to have an answer for us was how we can make the software really, I would say, manageable without asking any permission or the intervention of the IT. And this was the first and focal point. So we went on a web-based idea. We then developed the idea to have the app. So the app, is it correct that at the moment is still not present on iOS or Android shops, but we are already using this kind of software. So we have inspectors that are already testing and utilizing the app. Once we will have completed the other milestone we have on our roadmap, this will be made available for free download. This means that every one of us connected could easily take a note and download the app to see the features, even though the connection will be granted only through our portal according to our security policies, with bearing in mind that privacy and data storage in a secure way are always the target that we are looking for.
Okay, and there is another question, Davide. What about additive manufacturing with 3D printers? Any experience so far?
The question is quite, I would say, huge to be replied. I would say that we can cross eventually the live video streaming and recording with some 3D printing experience that we have already experienced during the COVID emergency. So we had cases where we needed to perform some, I would say, to realize also inside ACES with our own 3D printers, some pieces to be sent to hospitals due to the emergency. In that case, I would say that our remote inspection was anyway making us able to observe or to verify from remote what the 3D printing was performing physically. At the same time, the operator using the 3D printer was able to verify through the screen what was the, I would say, the need at that time coming from the hospitals, or anyway from the suggestions of the people that at that time was needing to receive with urgency the pieces to be deployed at the hospitals.
Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions.
Let's see if
I think we covered all.
I guess yes. I would say that the best is yet to come. Just try with us. We are already, as I told you, we performed more, I would say, more than 30 live remote inspections during the last 7 weeks. We are really pushing over this task to guarantee to our client an execution or anyway the continuation of testing, figure out the eventual implication from the point of view of manufacturers. Just between their own chain, they would be able once again to develop a better strategy, just to get connected and to see how the pieces are coming to the main factory to be assembled and to be tested with a client inspector. We can have client participating to the events or to the inspection even from remote. Actually, flights and anyway travels are still difficult, not only in Italy but worldwide. So we believe that these tools can make really the difference during the next months till the situation will become again quiet. Even we will go with further development just to make sure that we can supply the tool of remote inspection as a tool that can be utilized not only in dangerous situations or difficult times like we are now, but also in the future.
Yeah. So thanks very much, Davide, and
my pleasure
for your hard work and dedication. Once again, let me say thank you to Maurizio, Virginia, and VALVEcampus for the opportunity we were given today. If there are no other questions, I will just pass it on to Maurizio and Virginia for the conclusions.
If you have any question after webinar, please send an email at segreteria@valvecampus.com. The webinar is recorded and will be published on VALVEcampus YouTube channel. Please subscribe on it. Then follow VALVEcampus or LinkedIn page for avenues to the next webinar. I would like to give a special thanks to our speaker today, Emanuele, Davide, and the president of VALVEcampus, Maurizio Brancaleone, for sharing this experience and knowledge with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. So I think that I have to thank also our friends, particularly Davide and Emanuele, for their very good presentation and keeping on for more than half an hour answering the different questions that were put forward by all participants. I think that we have learned a lot today. We have to put things into practice, and this is what makes our life always very interesting, because we learn by experience every day. And what we face now with the remote inspection is quite a unique opportunity for the valve industry at large to penetrate into a new era of communication. And I think that we have been heard talking for many months or years about the Industry 4.0, digital use and so on. And I think that this is a typical case where, with some willingness to perform and a lot of fantasy, the industry can use these instruments in a better way to make our world a safer world, an easier world to communicate. At the end of the day, it's a communication effect. And I think that communicating also with the remote inspection will give us a better chance to show to all our stakeholders and partners that the valve industry is very much concerned about it. And I'm sure that ACES will also work along with other associations. So I will talk later on with Emanuele and Davide, because when we talk about pressure vessels, we talk about columns and so on. There are 3 or 4 large manufacturers in Italy, which are, again, like the valve manufacturers in the Bergamo area, particularly leaders worldwide. And I think that introducing this also with the drones idea to examine and inspect the top of a column tower, well, it could be quite an interesting thing to think about. But this is something that will come in the near future. So, having said that, I thank Virginia for the introduction, for the closeness and the opportunity she gave to understand that all the webinar will be available on YouTube. And I think that this is another important tool that we will provide to all participants. So please stay tuned and follow us on the socials like LinkedIn, like Instagram and so on. I think Virginia is doing an excellent job in communicating, and I'm very, very happy about it. So I wish a good day, and thank you so much for being with us. Very enthusiastic webinar. Thank you, and to the next edition. Bye-bye.